What's up, Summoners? King Blair here. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the four teams I'm going to do a four-part series of four different teams that you can run personally to help you climb an arena. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Cleave team. So we're just going to be doing some arena battles with the Cleave team, and I'll be talking to you guys about some of them, of why I use the Cleave team and why Cleave team actually is personally my favorite team. And we're just going to look at some monsters. So first I'm going to just show you guys what is a Cleave team? Where would you use it? So on defenses like this, a Cleave team is just amazing. So why I say that? So let's just start it. So right off the bat, the reason I say that is because all Cleave teams run a stripper. Some type of stripper. Right now, obviously not all of you guys will have a Triton, but I will show you guys other teams that run this. So obviously I'm really low in arena right now, so I should be just clearing through these pretty quickly. But as we go on and on, you will get to see different Cleave teams, but essentially the biggest two things for a Cleave team is you have to have a stripper and you have to have shield will. It doesn't matter who your damage monsters are as long as they have damage. Obviously, I run Saros, which a lot of you guys won't have, but I'll show you different teams where I don't run Saros and I can still win with this Cleave team. So I just wanted to show you some of the power. We're going to do the same team again. So this is one of, if not one of the best Cleave teams. So for teams like this, even though I'm in low in arena, I'm going to assume that I normally would not run a Cleave team against this because they're running a speed team defense. So Cleave team defenses would lose against a speed team defense. But they would win against slower defenses or fast, low damage defenses. So it just depends on what you need. But for now, we're just focusing on the Cleave team. So let me try to get back on track. Sorry about that, guys. So Cleave team, again, this is the team I personally run. I will show you different variations of this, try to show you some different monsters you can use. Maybe if I have them room, I'll use them for this. But so a Cleave team, what you need to have, as I mentioned before, you have to have a stripper. So you see that in this case, my stripper is the Triton. You have to have shield will, and you have to have 2 damage dealers. Your stripper usually won't be a damage dealer, and your buffer and a defense reducer probably also won't be doing much damage, but if you have a Galleon, he can actually do a lot of damage, but you still want both of those to be tankier, because you want to have elemental advantage a lot of the times, or if you're able to get elemental advantage, it's really good. But, so we're just going to keep going through this. This guy actually wasn't too bad. He had a Rakan that had the wings, which means he's pretty high up in Conqueror Arena for real time. But we're just going to keep going through high, because I want to get a little bit higher in Arena so y'all can see harder teams. So against teams that have strippers, I can still run this Cleave offense. I might get outspeeded by the Juno. You should ruin her. If you have a Juno, ruin her fast if you're going to put her on defense. We're still going to run it, but Cleave teams, this is a good example of other teams that Cleave teams don't always succeed against. Defenses that have a stripper. So as you can see, the Juno got really close, but she's still going to go before me. But I typically run my Triton to be pretty fast because he resets the attack bar. And that's why I tend to use him. And it's just like what I have that's my best stripper. There's obviously better strippers than a Triton. You have, if I had a Tiana, you would see me running her right now. I don't have a Tiana, so I'm running him. I used to run another one. And I'll show you guys the other variation of this team that I personally used to enjoy a lot. But alright, so I'm going to do one more wing so you guys can see the power of a Cleave team, and then I'm going to summarize everything you guys are seeing and what it is. Why am I running what I'm running, when I run what I run, and then just what. I know I've been kind of saying it through the video, but I'm going to make a very concise list right at the end. And I will link the different things that beat a Cleave team. I'll put that in the description so you guys can read up on it if you don't want to watch the whole video. But I'll put that at the very end, and so you guys can read it really quickly, see what you need, and if you're trying to build a Cleave team, just see what you're going to be using and what you can use. Obviously, there's some teams that I can beat really quickly just because I know that my Cleave team, and I'm low in arena, so I know I can beat them pretty quickly, but I use this arena even in Conqueror, I use this offense even in Conqueror level, Guardian level matches. So it works really well. So what makes a Cleave team a Cleave team? So I should have done that at the beginning, but we're just going to look. So you typically want some form of, for your speed lead. So for your lead, who should you put for your leader? So right now I have a Saros. the reason I have a Saros is because he gives an attack buff. But let's say, I don't have a Saros, right? That's fine. So cleave teams can also be fast cleave teams. So you can also have a speed lead. So if you have a Tyrant or a Shimite, run them. They're great monsters to have. Shimite is actually a very accessible one. I don't personally run one because I have other speed leads, but Shimite. So who should you put in your leader? You need someone that either gives speed, attack, or crit rate. Don't put someone that gives defense or HP in a cleave team, because you are trying to tank in one way with the shield, but that's not your main focus. When the second your team goes, you want to be able to just do damage. So that's the first slot. For the second slot, we would have, so the reason you see me skip is because some of these have strips. So this one's fine. So first slot doesn't have to be a Saros, just someone that has a good speed lead. So that's what you should be looking for a leader. Speed, if you want to go faster than your enemy team and you think your monsters can outspeed. Attack, if you're going to have to tank a little bit or if you know you're getting first turn. And then never run any of the resistance, defense, or HP as leader. That's basically what it all comes down to. For the next two slots, so instead of Galleon, you don't have to have a Galleon. A lot of people are like, I don't have a Galleon, so I can't run a cleave team. No, you don't have to have a Galleon in order to have an effective cleave team. I'm going to show you guys the cleave team I used to use before I had these monsters. So the Galleon, you can replace him. The reason why he's so good is because he debuffs and he buffs. So he has a 2-in-1 kind of thing. So it's good to have because he does so much. So that's why he's so good. But you can have other ones that you just need someone that will break the enemy team's defense. Breaking the enemy team's defense is more important than getting an attack buff on your monster. So you want someone who can break defense on this slot. You also want, on another slot, you want to run a stripper. So I run Trident right now because I have him. There's other strippers I would like to run. You can run a Praha, you can run a Juno, you can run the Pioneer, the Fire Pioneer. You can run anyone that has any form of strip. You can even run the Water Nine-Tailed Fox. She also has a strip, and I'm going to show you guys the Wind Brownie Magician is actually amazing for a stripper job. Your last two slots, you see I have a Toasty and a Saros right now. They don't have to be like super unacquirable units, but they can be units that just deal heavy damage and provide, it's just like you want heavy damage for your 2 hits. So so now you're probably like, okay, you run busted units, like I can't do this. Why are you showing me something like this? So I'm going to do what I used to run as my cleave team. I actually didn't have any of these units starting off the game. And I don't have the monsters I used to run, but I have some of the parts I used to. So when I say that, it's because I'm going to show you guys the monsters I used to run way back in the day. I used to run a Lure, my Wind Brownie Magician. I still have him because I still feel like I need him for different things. So Wind Brownie Magician, Akuma Beer, and the last slot, I don't think I have him still, but I might. I used to run a Tyrant. So you might be looking at this and you might think like, this guy's crazy. Like, what is this guy thinking? This team's gonna get wrecked. And surprisingly, no, I didn't get wrecked. I actually got to conquer using this offense. So why this offense works, or why it's still I consider it a cleave type offense. So in this case, I have 2 damage dealers, my Tyrant and my Akuma Beer. So the team would go, your stripper should always go first. So your stripper goes first. So the reason why I personally think Brownie Magician is underrated and I still want to build him is because Trident is just a stripper, but Brownie Magician also has the option to buff. So for cleave teams, you usually go against teams that you know are going to be running a will, like either shield will or are just going to have will on monsters you want to take care of early. So when you have a Wind Brownie Magician, and let's say they don't have any buffs or any like will or anything, you can just use Fever Time and you get crit and you get attack damage, which is amazing. So he's a buffer and a stripper. He's 2-in-1. You want to have monsters that can have 2-in-1. Next, I have Lure. The reason I have Lure to go right after my Brownie Magician is so I can make my Brownie Magician really fast, make Lure slightly slower than Brownie Magician. So after the strip, I can use Lure's third skill, which is Crime Alert, and reduce the attack bar of everyone on the enemy team and defense break. And then I can have my Tyrant do Hailstorm, freeze the whole enemy team, and essentially allow myself to get an extra turn. And Tyrant can do a lot of damage later on. And then I'll have Akamabir do his third skill and just completely wipe out one or two of their monsters. Like, let's say if I ran it against this team, I have will on everything and I have shield on everything. So I know I'm going to be able to tank most of the stuff they throw at me, and then I'll get my turn. And I'll be able to lock them down for an extra turn, probably kill their Ganymede, and then be able to freeze the team and get another turn with Akamabir and Tyrant and be able to finish off what I started the first turn. So as you can see, you don't have to run the team I typically run. Like, you don't have to have the best units in the game to have a Cleave team. And the teams without Seros and stuff like this, so let's say that you do have a Galleon, but let's say you don't have a Tosi or a Trident. So I'd still run this. I still put him because he can add crit, so it's not wasted. The buff isn't wasted. If I had this option though, I would make the Brownie Magician super tanky in order for it, and Despair. So like once you strip, you can add the Despair. I would have this, and then I need 2 damage dealers. So I'm gonna be like, I don't know. Let's say you have. I'm just gonna do. Actually, you probably shouldn't run people like that because single targets typically don't do too well on Cleave team unless it's like you have an AoE and then a single. So if I had this, let's say that they had like this team. So I'm like, okay, I need to, for sure I want to kill, let's say I know I want to kill Sierra. She's the target I'm going for. Then I can run a single target nuker. So this is a unit that all of you guys should have, and I hope you guys all are farming for it if you don't, but a Theomars. So crit rate, you have Theomars, you have the attack buff, you have the Brownie, and then now you need someone that does AoE damage. I don't know if I have another AoE damage dealer. I'm not going to run Lucian because Lucian is part of a completely different set of team. Who's another AoE? A lot of my AoE are Nat 5s, but I don't want to use Nat 5s to show you guys this. But if you run single target, let's actually run this. So I'm actually running with Triton, so you guys can see that you can also have single target nuker, single target Cleave teams. So let's say this is perfect. Let's say you had him. Look at that. You have a Cleave team without a Saros. Obviously, it's very water heavy, and a lot of my units aren't on will, so I can't run this actually. But you get the idea. Like you can have different setups. The 2 most important parts are honestly this 2: your stripper and your attack buffer, and then 2 damage dealers or 1 CC or 1 damage dealer and a heavy damage dealer. So that's like the foundations of your Cleave team. These 2 monsters, and having will shield on all your monsters. Once you have these 2, you have one of the, I say this because I really do believe this, you have one of the best Cleave offenses. If you have, like, you can offenses for Cleave offenses, I think they're personally one of the best defense offenses, and I run it all the time and get very high in arena because a lot of people don't deal with, like, they're trying to deal against speed offenses, so they'll run tankier fire monsters, and you can tank those and then do a ton of damage with a Cleave offense. So that's why I personally love Cleave offenses, and they're my favorite offense. That's what you guys, I've been talking for like probably 20 minutes now, and I keep talking about the same thing, but I just really, really like Cleave teams. And that's why I feel like it's important for people to have one. But they do have like downsides. So there's certain teams that I can't run a Cleave offense against. Like this, Cleavable. Why do I say it's Cleavable? They have slow monsters that have buffs, that rely on buffs and rely on tanking. I can get a monster that can one-shot their aerial if I have enough damage on it, or one-shot their Theomars and one-shot Jaeger, or not Theomars, Veramos. So I can have different Cleave teams and take care of different monsters, or I can just do an AoE. If I have, like, let's say you have, like for this team, let's say I had my Wind Chimera. Boom, their whole team is just dead because, like, I'm going to go faster than them because of my Trident, and even if I don't go faster, they don't have a big damage threat. I'm too worried about killing my units. And it's just like, Cleave teams are just so good against teams like this. Let's see other teams that people have. So this one, it would be, personally, I think a Cleave team would not work against this offense, against this defense, unless you had a faster Orion and outsped them, because this defense relies on heavy speed damage. That's where Cleave defenses kind of lose if they ever have like, or they have a stripper. So Orion is honestly give or take. So a lot of these are probably defenses I could show you guys that I would definitely win, but I want to try to find a defense that would kill. So this kills Cleave teams. Yes, it's like unreliable what they have because Lucian will usually derp, but the fact that they have that Lucian and if they're gonna go first for sure. And if they go first, the Megan get buffs, and then let's say he goes for amputation magic. If he kills one of my damage dealers, my Cleave offense is dead. So that's why I typically won't take Cleave offenses against defenses that are like this, like YOLO defenses, because I know there's a chance I will lose. But that's honestly the only weakness besides strippers. So this is another team you shouldn't take your Cleave offense to, because they have a stripper, and Praha, you learn the monsters that usually outspeed. They also have an Orion, so they'll go get first turn for sure. So I'm just going to run this so you guys can... I'm going to lose this if this guy has decent runes. If he doesn't, I will win it, but I hope he has good runes. But if I go against this defense, I know I'm probably going to lose because they have two strippers. They probably on despair. They'll mess up my combo, and then I'll lose. So this is another team you should not... I'm doing this just to show you guys what would happen. But you should not take it into teams that have heavy stripping potential and CC potential. So see, boom, right off the bat, I lost the match. I don't even have to watch the rest of the match to know I lost. Because my Sayrus that's my main damage dealer. There's nothing I can do against that. So I'm still going to try, of course, because you should try all the way to the end. But I lost just because of that one stun. It's over. And none of them used their strip, which is weird, because they should all have used their strips. But see, it's like I might actually win this just because I have better rune quality. But against teams like this, I'm relying on luck at this point in order to even get close to winning. See, it's over. It's game over. So that's why I told you guys, even from the start, I knew I was going to lose. Because I know they're going to get first turn. I know they have a lot of despair. I know they have a lot of things that can kill my offense. And it's just something you don't want to do. So don't take it into teams that have a lot of strippers. It just does not go out that well. Or teams that have high damage, speed monsters. So teams like this, I would say Cleave all you want. I probably might lose this just because I said that. But of course, it's like... I'm supposed to win. I have a higher chance to win this. Because you never know. Something can always go wrong. But... like especially with Orion, but against teams like these, I know I have a very good chance to win. So like things like that, I might lose, just because I don't know why he would go for that skill, but that makes me mad because I can't strip. So like I already lost this game just because. See, it's like things like these. Like I probably should have won this match, but the Okeanos went for a really like. He usually won't go for a skill like that. And then this Orion's just going ball. Yeah, see, so teams like this, it's like, I probably should have won this one. 100%. Like, I don't know why he would have. Okeanos got super lucky there. And it's just something like, you win some, you lose some, but Cleave teams typically do get the job done. So, this is painful to watch because, especially like, the more you use Cleave teams, you'll realize some teams that you're like, I could have won, but something went wrong. And I kind of enjoy that about Summoner's War, because like if you had a team that won every single time, the game wouldn't be fun, So a team like this, if it was run well, I would be scared of, but no, I'm not too worried. I also let's say I'm worried about the speed, but they're low in arena, so I don't expect them to have something that will kill me. So then for teams like this, the reason I say speed leads for Cleave teams is because if I do this, I most likely will get the first turn. Hold up, that's the wrong Saros. I will most likely get the first turn. And especially because teams like this, because I know they shouldn't have like amazing rune quality. So I don't expect much from this defense. So see, I know I got first turn because of the speed lead, decrease attack bar, and then just completely obliterate their team. But you have to work with what you have. Not all of you are going to have a 34%, a 33% attack speed lead like I do. But all of you should have access to, even a Beretta would be fine for this a Cleave team. But just anything that works for you. So teams like this, you do want to run a faster Cleave team. I know I've been talking for a lot, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. So let me show you guys the runes really quickly for the Cleave team I personally run. So as you can see, Will, you want high damage, super high damage dealers, because they're the main source of damage. And if something goes wrong, like if Galleon misses a defense break, you still want your monsters to put a hurt on the enemy monsters. So that's what I have there. And then where's my Galleon? Galleon is one of those monsters that, like, I would like him to be on shield because he has such high base HP, but he ends up just doing so much damage that I want to have him on violent, which I do, because like he can sometimes win the matches for me, and that's personally like something I decided for myself. Most people will run a shield Galleon, and then I have a Triton speed. There you can see the stats. The spare Will. I want him to get the. I don't think I did this for the Saros, but see, just a lot of damage. I run speed because you want to have all your monsters speed tuned. So if you see here, that's 175. My Galleon should be at like 178. Yeah. And then my Tosi should be at 170. So you want it to have as close as possible. Obviously, I slack a little bit on speed tuning just because I kind of rely on my Triton. Because I know when he takes up 25% of the attack bar, I'll get my turn right after, and it should be fine. But you want it to be like within 10, except if you have like Triton that his third skill pushes back the attack bar. I also should skill up my Triton. It's only one of the monsters that I'm just like, you really don't need it. He's not there for like damage purposes, so. But it should be nice because sometimes it would help. And see, I build him kind of tanky on the HP, just so he can take some couple hits, like if I go against a Perna off defense. And then my Tosi is my shield rune carrier. So you might look at this and be like, I need to skill this up. Wow, I've been slacking on my offensive. So I could probably improve that rune, put something like this on. But I might change that right now and give him more speed. But he needs to have the speed where he was. So that's why I kept this rune. But it's the temporary. I need to revamp my Cleave team soon, especially because like, oh my god, I need to skill him up. But I run this team all the time, and obviously not the best stats, but it still gets me so high in arena. So I know I talked for a lot, guys. I'll put some summary in the descriptions. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you next time. Peace.